Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Penguin,
And my name is Sean.
and we're going to be back here for the second game of semifinal 2 between the Purple Protoss Copper Hertz, who's going to be spawning in the bottom right spawn location of GSL Tal'Darim Altar. His opponent is going to be Seohyeon, the...
Oh no. I think Copper Hertz is 7 pulling.
well, Seohyeon is going to be spawning in the top left spawn location as the blue Terran. And for a second I forgot what that color was. Is this is the old one? No, whatever. They have decided that they don't mind the map. This is the GSL version, which means there are no rocks here, and instead there's just 3 less mineral patches and 1 less Vespene geyser at this natural third. It's much easier to take early on since you don't have to knock down those rocks, but it's also much less valuable. So Copper Hertz is going to be moving out to do some scouting, and I'm just really interested to see whether or not he goes for the same sort of eco cheese that we saw him do last time.
Yeah, yes indeed. That is a very early scout. I would not be surprised to see him just be like, okay, we're not close position. Okay. Then we're just going to know he's actually scouting. Yeah, he is scouting to the top right. I wonder if he is actually scouting for his opponent's position. He won't be going for any kind of weird ego cheese quite yet. I guess we shouldn't be metagaming because neither of these players is metagaming most likely.
No,
so
yeah, I don't think we're likely to see Copper Hertz put down a hidden expansion, if ever, for the first.
Well, I think
minutes.
I don't think we're likely to see him as much as I don't think we're likely to see anyone put down an expansion. But hopefully his decision isn't influenced by his by what happened last game.
Hopefully that is very true. Copper Hertz is going to be throwing down a fast expand, going Nexus first, so very greedy from him there, and it looks like Seohyeon getting an SCV in position to build that command center down there. He doesn't have anywhere near enough money for it, so I don't know whether or not he's actually going to... Whoa! 2 racks!
Yes, indeed. He's
And
going to
he will
2x
kill that probe before it even sees that second racks. Nexus first is not a very good counter to 2 racks aggression, no matter how big the map. And Seohyeon has put the second racks much further forward. He will also be able to lift it down there to cut the rush distance still further. So Seohyeon is going to be in a phenomenal position, especially with this reactor on that one on that first barracks. I wouldn't be surprised to see him put a tech lab on the second, simply because he is continuing to mine gas. And
now I'm pretty sure Tal'Darim Altar Nexus First does not auto lose to 2 racks. On other maps
it
definitely
doesn't auto lose.
I feel like if you chrono, he is getting that second gateway down, so this is the right reaction, and he's chrono boosting that zealot. That zealot is going to come in so importantly. It's going to be really important at holding off the 2 racks, and he's going to have to handle this absolutely perfectly.
There's a tech lab on the second barracks, and he is going to be going straight into concussive shells and marauders. So this push, I mean, it's going to be, I mean, as you said, those zealots are going to be really helpful, especially as he's going to be able to chrono them out 2 at a time. Cybercore also on the way up. And but it's all, I think it's going to come down to Seohyeon's micro. If Seohyeon's micro is good, especially with that concussive shells, the zealots are not going to be all that effective.
Yeah, the trick to this is that those zealots are simply there for movement denial. Zealots are great defensively against Marines. They're awful offensively against Marines, simply because they can be microed to Kingdom Come. That Zealot should not leave the base. It should essentially just keep chasing those Marines out of the base and then just pull back. But Copper Hertz knows this, and actually, unless Seohyeon pulls some like really cool trick out of his sleeve, I think actually Copper Hertz should be able to hold this off pretty okay. He might take some damage, but... Sorry?
I do agree. He is going to be chronoing out 2 Stalkers now, and he's going to be going into full-on Stalker production. And I think Copper Hertz should be in a reasonable position to hold this off, like you said.
And oh no, but actually he's pulling all of his SCVs, and suddenly this is looking way grim for Copper Hertz. That's exactly what Seohyeon needed to do.
There are several SCVs still mining at home, but this is constitution. This does constitute an all-in. Those SCVs are only there so he can continue producing Marauders and Marines. And Seohyeon needs to
Let
Well,
me illustrate just how many SCVs have been pulled. If CuHz pulls every probe at his expansion and holds off the game, it is essentially GG.
yeah, pretty much.
Oh no, he needs to pull.
Oh
He needs to pull
god.
the probes right now. He's
And
not
they
pulling
are
enough
going to be
probes.
engaging here. There are 2 Marauders. Marauders will do phenomenally against the Gateway units here, and only 3 Stalkers. There is another Stalker moving in, trying to engage here. And, well, the Zealots are actually doing pretty good damage there. But he's pulled a few probes, but not enough in my opinion.
That's not. Well, he needs to pull every single probe at
Microing
that expansion
very,
or at
very
his main,
well.
one or the other. And
Micro
he's just
is
not
gonna.
doing
The micro is phenomenal so far from CuHz, but he is going to need to pull. Like you said, he's going to need to pull those probes, or else he is going to die. There are more troops streaming in for Seohyeon, and well, there's really not all that much for CuHz other than those probes.
Yeah, he is chrono boosting those gateways, and yeah, and now he's pulling. Now he's just doesn't have. He had to pull way too many probes in order to hold off that attack,
And
and
he is
still the
supply
attack's not.
blocked. Finally pulling all of his probes, but he is supply blocked, and this last Zealot on the way out is going to be the last troop he has. The Stalkers are doing a lot of damage. The probes are doing very, very well to soak up as much as they can, but now the probes are gone, and he is going to have to micro these Stalkers perfectly to survive this.
Yeah, he does manage to get that warp tech done. That may help him. These zealots are going to come in are going to be so important. Hopefully he can hold off long enough to get some forces up, but it just doesn't look that way. Seohyeon does have those mules, and he does have a pretty decent number of SCVs still mining at his home. And I feel like CuHz just really lost this game. He really did a great job holding off that 2-Rex, but as soon as you see that many, he pulled 12 SCVs. That's like 10 to 12 SCVs. You pull every probe at that expansion, you win. You win the game.
That's very, very true. And Seohyeon is losing a lot of troops here, but let's just take a look at the worker supply. It's 10-5 in Seohyeon's favor. So even if CuHz somehow, by some miracle, holds off this attack and finally causes Seohyeon to pull back, Seohyeon is mining twice as much, well, more than twice as much because of the mules. He's mining about 3 times as much as his opponent is. And there we go. He's going to lose 3 more probes right there. And this should be GG from CuHz.
Yeah, this ought to be GG. I just don't see. I do not see CuHz coming back from this.
Look at the supply, 30-7.
And yeah, he officially spent his last 100 minerals, and he had no probes mining. He spent his last 100 minerals on a zealot.
He is going to be engaging here, but the Marauders with the concussive shells, that Stalker is not going to be able to run for long. Going to be focusing down the Cyber Core, but of course CuHz with virtually no money. That Cyber Core is going to be falling momentarily, and yep, Cyber Core is down now, which means no more Stalker production, even if he did have the money. And I mean, he can pull all his probes now, which he's going to do, but that's not going to make a bit of difference. And he is going to be warping in a Zealot, and woo from CuHz, GG. And CuHz will be leaving us in the quarterfinals.